Welcome aboard Just Jets with your captain, Matt O'Leary. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with episode number 37 of Just Jets. Hope you're excited to have some Jets therapy. This is what it's turned into. We're going to start by talking about a topic, then getting into the voicemails just like every week. Wherever you get this show, I'm going to ask you to please, if you can, subscribe. It'd really help out a lot. We love the support. It's been growing like crazy. I really appreciate it, guys. And wanted to talk to you about Manscaped. So right here, we talked about the Lawnmower 3.0. And what I got is the Weed Whacker. It trims your nose hair, can trim your ear hair. And listen, guys, like if you're going out on a date, you don't want to have any of that stuff dangling out of your face. It's not a good look. Halloween's coming up. You don't want to be looking spooky. You want everything cleaned up. You want everything looking nice. So I'm going to give you a promo code, Jets20. Promo code Jets20 gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. You can use it on the Lawnmower 3.0. You can use it on the Weed Whacker, whatever you like, and get 20% off over there at manscaped.com. So before I jump into the episode, hand up, I messed up. So if you listen to this show on just the audio feed, I uploaded the wrong file. I uploaded the raw file instead of the completely edited one. Yeah, that's the thing. My bad. Listen, it happens. I'm not happy about it, but sometimes things get lost in the shuffle. Just being completely honest, it unfortunately happens. So it's not going to happen again, at least not this week. It might happen again in the future, but yeah, a little embarrassing, but thank you for sticking with me and for understanding. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to start with Quinnen Williams because there's been some drama around him. Is he going to be traded? Is he actually being shopped? Manish Mehta comes out and says, the Jets are actively looking to move on from Quinnen Williams. And then every other Jets beat reporter is like, no, that's not true, actually, which I don't think so. I really don't think the Jets are going to look to move Quinnen Williams. Maybe if someone offers a first-round pick, okay, sure, you might trade him for that. If someone's offering a second, which I think is more likely, I think you're probably keeping him at that point. And to be completely honest, like I was not the biggest fan of the pick at the time at third overall. I think they should have went a different direction. But looking at what he's done over the last 2 years, he has gotten better in year one going into year two. He is, I don't know if I would say elite yet. He's a very good player. And if you're drafting and hitting on very good players that are 22 years old, you probably want to build around those guys. And your roster can't be completely barren. So unless I'm getting a first-round pick, I'm really not looking to move on from Quinnen Williams. I think he's been fine. He's been good. And if you have him, John Franklin Myers, Huff, maybe you draft somebody for the other side on edge, now you're looking like you're starting to get somewhat of a pass rush and somewhat of a nice-looking defense. So I'm really not looking to move on from him. I don't buy the Manish Mehta BS that he puts out there, which is just crazy at this point. But I kind of like that the other Jets people jumped in and were like, no, that's not really a thing, which I guess I'm happy about. Like, I think they're going to move some guys before next week, but I don't expect it to be a complete fire sale and like everyone's gone. If I had to make a couple of guesses, like I think they're going to keep Crowder. I don't think they move on from Crowder. I think Avery Williamson is someone who could likely go, and maybe Brian Poole. Other than that, I think they're going to keep most everyone else, which I'm okay with. Like, if you sell off one or two pieces for a couple of mid-round picks, okay, that's fine. But you can't completely blow up this roster and have absolutely nothing for next year. And I think Quinnen is young enough and good enough and controllable enough just in his second year where you should keep him around and see if he continues to grow in the way that he has from year one to year two. So he's been pretty good in year two. I'll give him that. So let's talk about last week's game briefly, then we'll get into Kansas City before we get to the voicemail. So weird day for me at the O'Leary household. I had no cable, I had no internet, and I had no telephone service because there were trees down in my area. So I had to go to the bar to watch the game, which was a change of pace, which is cool, I guess. But I'm someone who likes to be in their house, in their spot, not move. I'm a little weird. I'm a little superstitious, but it was different. It was cool. So that was a thing. So I was watching without sound, so it took some of it away at the bar. But overall, what I noticed in the first half was the offense looked completely different, and that was because Dowell Loggins started calling plays. I was like, interesting. Like, is Dowell actually better than what we initially anticipated? Because they looked good on the first couple of drives. Sam was making nice throws. He had that 3rd and 20 pickups to Braxton Berrios. I was like, holy cow, like, this is awesome. Offense looks completely different. They look like a functioning team. That lasted about a quarter and a half. Right before the half, Darnold threw a really bad pick into triple coverage. I don't know what he saw. I don't know why he threw that ball. And that changed the game. And in the second half, it was all Buffalo in terms of they only ended up kicking field goals. They won 18-10, but the Jets had like 4 yards of offense in the second half. It's impossible. Like, they one up themselves on ineptitude every week. Buffalo clearly adjusted, and the Jets never did. They kept trying to do the same thing, and it wasn't working. And it just got frustrating, and they lost. The offense did absolutely nothing after that. One more positive on this game before we move to Kansas City, because there's not a ton of positives. But Denzel Mims made his debut, and I thought he looked good in the first half. He had 4 catches for about 40-ish yards, a little more than 40 yards. And he was open another time, and Darnold didn't get him the ball quick enough. It would have been a first down, maybe even a touchdown in the red zone. But he definitely looked the part in his first game, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool to see, and hopefully he continues to grow the rest of the year. That'd be awesome. This upcoming week, Jets have to go to Kansas City. The Jets are awful on the road, and I don't see this being good. I think this is going to be an ugly blowout. I'm going to say 44-10. I don't think this game is very close. I think Kansas City could really pick apart this Jets defense, who, let's face it, is weak in the secondary, and the Jets offense just doesn't do enough to make you believe that they're going to do anything. They're averaging like 12 points a game right now. It's unbelievable. Like, this is the NFL in 2020. How is it possible that you're averaging 12 points a game, but the Jets are? Like I said, 44-10 is my prediction. Something like that. I think this is going to be really rough, and you're just going to have to continue to ride this thing out, man. It sucks, but we're just in this together, and it's the road to likely 0-16, 1-15, 2-14 at the absolute most, and we'll see. But very not excited, not excited at all to get the beat down from Le'Veon Bell, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get into those voicemails now. All right, first up is Anthony. We're going to get into some post-game reaction from Anthony.
Hey, Matt. It's Anthony again. So we were ejecting this past Sunday. We came out looking like a different football team, and then in the second half, I had some deja vu from earlier this season of how we were playing. Anyway, just let me know your thoughts on how you think they did and Darnold's overall performance. I think he didn't do well at all except for a little bit in the first half. But go Jets, and thanks for Trevor.
Yeah, it seems like it's at that point, right? It seems like they're on an express train to the first overall pick, which means Trevor Lawrence. Darnold didn't play good. He was solid in the first quarter and a half, and then the rest of the game just did not look good. Whole Jets offense didn't look good. And you get into the whole debate whether whose fault it is. Is it Gase? Is it the system? Is it the bad offensive line? Is it the playmakers around him? Is it Darnold? And while I think there are a bunch of factors for the reason why Darnold's been struggling, I do think a little bit of this is on him. It stinks, but he has clearly gotten worse this year. I want Sam Darnold to be the guy, so I'm praying he shows you something down these next 9 games and gives you a reason to not take Trevor Lawrence. But right now, it seems like that's the direction that they're going to go. And when you only allow 18 points on all field goals, you should win that game. The Jets were not in that game because they scored 10 points. It's unbelievable that they continue to do this. Thank you, Anthony, for the question. Next up is Max from New Jersey, and he wants to talk about Adam Gase.
From Holmdel. Hi, this is Max from Holmdel, New Jersey. I have a question for you. How is Adam Gase still a head coach in the NFL?
Good
Today's
question.
game was terrible. The first half looked pretty decent. Like, for example, there was a great rushing touchdown by LaMichael Pirine.
Right.
Dal Loggins was a pretty good play caller, but in the second half, why did Dal Loggins hand over the play call to Adam Gase? How did the Jets have 4 yards in the second half? That was embarrassing. It was so predictable that Adam Gase has some of the most predictable play calls ever. He's just not a head coach in the league. Just because Peyton Manning raves about Adam Gase doesn't mean Adam Gase should be our head coach. I think Adam Gase should be fired at the end of this year. Then we need to hire Eric Bieniemy.
Okay.
Then I hope the Jets do not take Trevor Lawrence. Even though Eric Bieniemy would probably want to take Trevor Lawrence because Sam Darnold is just not been playing that good because Adam Gase just ruined him. I hope that the Jets should fire Adam Gase. When do you think Adam Gase should get fired, and do you think Adam Gase will ever get a head coaching job again? Because I hope he doesn't. Also, this Friday, do you want to be on my Instagram Live talking about the New York Jets? And go Jets.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it, Max. Unfortunately, I have a birthday party I got to go to this Friday. It's going to be safe. Don't worry, socially distant, but friend's birthday, so I'm going to be hanging out with them. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take a rain check on that. I definitely have Eric Bieniemy high on my list of coaches. He comes in at number 2 on my list. I really want Arthur Smith. I like Greg Roman a lot. I like Brian Daboll. And I like Joe Brady. That probably rounds out my top 5 right there. And I think if they're picking first overall, they're taking Trevor Lawrence. If they're in a position to draft him, I think they're taking him. To me, the question of if they're taking a quarterback comes if they are picking second, third, fourth, somewhere in there. And then I think you can have that conversation. Would you rather go Justin Fields? Would you rather go Trey Lance? Or would you rather keep Sam Darnold? And that's a legitimate conversation. I don't think it's a legitimate conversation to have about Sam Darnold versus Trevor Lawrence at this point. And the reason for that is, one, Darnold has looked worse. He has looked like he's gotten worse, which sucks because he was an extremely promising prospect. I think he's probably someone who has to go somewhere else and get it figured out, maybe sit a year. But if you're telling me that you can take Trevor Lawrence and have him on his rookie contract making no money for the next 4 years, you probably have a better chance. And it's extremely risky to lock yourself into Sam Darnold and his 5th-year option after this year, because you have to say whether or not you're going to pick up that 5th-year option, which is going to be $26 million in that range. It's going to be a lot of money. And I don't know if you want to sign yourself up for that based on how he's played this season. I don't know if you can. I wish you can, but he'd have to look a lot different in the next 9 games. So thank you for checking in, Max. We're going to go to Phil with some reaction.
Matt, how you doing, man? It's Phil, Brooklyn, New York. First off, before I start saying anything, I would like to thank you for everything you're doing, because I genuinely don't know how you're doing it. I don't.
It's tough sometimes.
I try to talk Jets with my friends and stuff. I mean, you can't even fight with them about it or anything. There's nothing to fight about.
No.
I mean, I bring up the past about our 1968 Super Bowl, maybe. That's what I bring up. I just bring up. I don't know how you talk about it for this long, man. Really respect you for that.
Thank you.
Also, before I'm sidetracking a little bit, but thank you for writing about the Islanders. I'm so happy that we have them.
At least we have the Islanders. Some of us.
But second half, 4 yards. 4 yards. Are you kidding me? 4
It's so bad.
yards. Oh my God. Matt, look, I thought we did pretty well. First, pretty solid. And defense, I thought we did pretty well on defense. Sure, we crumbled a little bit, maybe near the end, but also, we stopped them from scoring a touchdown. I'm completely shocked by that. It's just, Matt, it's just like, we should have won this game. We really should have. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. We should have won that game. We had so many chances to. But
he started to get cut off a little bit there, but the point remains the same. And I appreciate you checking in with me, Phil. But it's the Jets should have won that game. That's 100% the takeaway. Even a bad team wins that game. The Jets are awful. They're not even bad. They're awful. Like, pretty much every other team in the league wins that game. If you don't allow a touchdown, you should win. And they lost by 8 points. They didn't allow a touchdown. Think about that for a second. They didn't allow a touchdown, and they lost by 8. How? In what world is that possible? The second half was an absolute disgrace. The Bills adjusted. The Jets didn't, which is why, or part of the reason why, they lost that game by almost double digits. They almost lost by double digits, and they didn't allow a touchdown. You really struggle to find words sometimes, and it's truly remarkable just how bad this team is. It really is. Thanks, Phil, for the call. We're going to go to Brandon in Texas, who he's still high on Sam Darnold. He wants to talk about Darnold.
Hey, Matt, what's going on, man? Love your content always. Appreciate you, bro. It's Brandon from Texas. I've called before, and we usually chat on IG. But anyway, I had 2 things, man. I'm getting a little tired of hearing, people just hype on Sam so bad. I mean, you look at the game against the Bills, 29 dropbacks. He gets sacked 6 times, 11 pressures, 9 knockdowns. I mean, what do you want him to do? The Jets made 0 halftime adjustments to counter the Bills adjustments.
That's true.
What do we want Sam to do under this type of situation? I get it. There's some people that want Trevor Lawrence, but we got to give Sam a break on this one, man. He should not deserve the lion's share of the blame when it comes to this, because a lot of it is coaching and scheme. My second question: if we were to go Trevor Lawrence, and you had a great video on the type of coaches.
Thank you.
I know Clemson currently runs a spread offense. So which one of these coaching candidates that you like run that type of spread offense that would allow Trevor Lawrence to succeed on the next level in the NFL if we should end up with the number 1 pick and we draft Trevor Lawrence? Hey, man, that's my questions. Appreciate you, bro. Keep doing great work, and go Jets.
Ooh, I love that question, Brandon. Really good question. Good call. So let's start from the top with Sam Darnold. And I understand where Brandon is coming from. I think I said it earlier, but there are a lot of reasons why Darnold is struggling right now. Where I think the thing that scares me is that he looks scared. He looks like a scared quarterback right now. And he doesn't look like the same guy that he was in the first year and even at the end of his second year when he came back from mono. I would say Darnold is pretty far down the list on reasons why he's not playing well. But at the same time, there are throws that are there that he's just not making. And the reason for that is because he's shell-shocked. And it's tough for me to bet that in year 4 he's going to be able to turn that around, even with a new coach, even with a better system, just because it's not an easy thing to do. It's rare. Yes, we saw it with Ryan Tannehill, but he had to leave his team. He had to go sit for a little bit, and then he came in halfway through last year, and he looked really good with Arthur Smith and Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. So while I am very much rooting for Sam Darnold down the stretch of this year to give me something to believe, because I love the guy, I'll say it again, I don't think that if you are in the position to take Trevor Lawrence that you pass on him, which stinks, but it might be the reality, especially at the cost that Darnold's going to be over the next couple of years with having to pick up the 5th option versus getting Trevor Lawrence. on a cheaper deal. So it stinks. I was more along your lines a few weeks ago, but the longer that this goes on and the more of a chance that they end up with a number one pick, it's becoming more and more a reality. And it stinks, but it looks like that's the way that it's going. As for the coaches, so I think Eric Bieniemy could be good with that because you look at the Chiefs and they like to move the ball around. They like to have a bunch of receivers on the field. Todd Monken, I think, could do that. He is the offensive coordinator at Georgia right now, but he did that with Tampa Bay and Bruce Arians. So I think that potentially he would be a good choice for that. Joe Brady, I think, could do it. I'm a huge fan of Joe Brady and Matt Rule too, obviously. But so Matt Rule brought him in, and he's been really good so far in his first year as offensive coordinator. As far as my number one choice, Arthur Smith, I think he's someone who right now does more play action and more run stuff with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee. But my argument, or I guess my reason to justify Arthur Smith is he's playing to his strength in Tennessee. Like, if you have a running back of that caliber in Derrick Henry, and you have Ryan Tannehill, who, I mean, let's face it, he is someone who benefits from the play action. I think he's playing to their strength, so I think he could be someone who could still get a lot out of Trevor Lawrence. So hopefully that answers your question. But there are a lot of good choices. I don't think you can really go wrong with any of the guys that were on my list or on most people's lists. The Jim Harbaugh scare me a little bit, or the big name retreads I don't really like. So thank you for checking in, Brandon. Next up, we're going to go Travis in Ohio. He's got a lot to say. He's got a ton of reaction. Let's hear from Travis.
Hey, Matt. Travis from Ohio.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, the offensive genius with a J put up a truly impressive 4 freaking yards in the whole second half of last week's game. Like, Jesus. I don't want to talk about that misery. I've already moved past it. I want to talk about last week with Roundtable with Jets 24/7. You guys kind of touched on the Jets 2021 cap situation.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that after that, I thought about it, and trading off veterans and their contracts and making space on the roster and cap after it retracts next year. The fire sale benefits the tank for Trevor in setting them up and getting the first pick every round, which is good, and getting the 6-rounders in 2022 made me think of, hey, with a full season of college football, we got more tape on guys, for lesser colleges and later that will actually be playing, hopefully, and on COVID season. So maybe that's why Joe's been getting these 6-rounders in 2022. I don't know. Anyway, I think keeping head case Gaze, having him have to own his own bullshit, and keeping him is kind of fitting karma. Major Payne said it best when he said, "What, and give you a vacation?" I'm sorry, that was horrible. Anyway, we gotta pay him anyway. Might as well let him live in this shit show and get all the bad press. Anyway, he gives us our best shot at getting a first-round pick.
Yep.
And, oh, it's horrible.
Travis, I feel you, buddy.
Is Joe playing, like, wizard-level chess with these moves? Like, he doesn't have a whole bunch of ammo left, so, like, you might as well do what he's doing. Anyway, keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, you got cut off. Thank you, Travis, for checking in, my man. I think that I agree with you. I think he's sticking through the rest of the year. I don't think they're going to move on. I think Black Monday, which is the day after the season comes to an end, he's going to get the boot, and they're going to go and try to look to hire somebody else. And honestly, I think we talked about it on the stream last night on Jets Talk 24/7's Talking Jets panel. I think we might be better off if Woody Johnson comes back. As flawed as he is, he would allow Joe Douglas to make the decision, and he could get some money, push some money back in here. Christopher Johnson hasn't been good. He's been really, really bad. It's scary that I'm asking for Woody Johnson to come back, but that's where we're at. Wild. Thank you for checking in, Travis. Last one's gonna be from Aaron in Illinois. Wants to talk Trevor Lawrence.
All right, hello. This is Aaron from Illinois. I'm gonna try not to be all over the place.
That's okay.
But man, there's a lot to talk about the Jets right now. It's crazy. So, first off, I don't know how to explain this though, but we're obviously 0-7. That shouldn't come to a surprise. And so today, Tuesday, sounds like Trevor Lawrence. They were, I think the reporters, I don't remember who, but they were talking to Trevor if he's gonna declare for the draft. And now the way he was talking, the way he said things, he was saying things. Now he's unsure. Now it's probably because the Jets, because how bad we are. So yeah, I have a good feeling he's probably gonna pull Peyton Manning, like what Peyton Manning did in I believe 1997 when the Jets had Kotite, which is kind of funny. Went 1-15, decided to go back to Tennessee for a year just to avoid the Jets, and sounds like that's gonna happen for Trevor Lawrence. So I think, it's good that we're taking, but I don't know. It's an interesting situation because now we have Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold did not look good in Week 7. He had a pretty good first half. And somehow, I don't know how this was possible, but somehow only got 4 yards the whole second half, which is pretty hilarious. I don't know how it was possible, but
at this point it is.
At this point with Sam Darnold, it's pretty much him against anybody because there's a good chance that Sam Darnold's not going to be with the Jets next year, which I want to be with the Jets next year, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to get traded. Definitely not at the deadline because the stuff is going with Trevor Lawrence. And speaking of Trevor Lawrence, everybody, even the media, right away, they keep saying stuff. Oh yeah, don't come to the Jets. They're a very, very bad team. They're a very, very bad franchise. I will go back to Clemson and save yourself. Which honestly though, taking that back though, I honestly think Trevor Lawrence should just come back. Just come to New York and I don't know, have some fun. But it's a very interesting situation with the quarterbacks here. I don't know if Sam's gonna be here. I don't know if Trevor's gonna be here. It's pretty interesting. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see how things play out with this conversation here. So I guess we just have to sit back and relax and see what happens here. So I guess that's what I had to say.
Oh, appreciate it. You got a little cut off at the end right there, but I think you hit on a lot of really good points. It's so frustrating watching this team, isn't it? But on the Trevor Lawrence discussion, I really don't think he's going to go back to school. I don't. You're going to pass up on $30 million guaranteed for another year, and then what? What if you get hurt at Clemson? And let's not think teams who get the first overall pick are bad for a reason. We know that. It's not like he's going to have his pick and his choice of where he can go and put himself in this amazing situation. Where else are you going to go? Jacksonville? They're not a walk in the park. Washington? What are we doing here? Detroit, Cleveland, these are the teams that get the number one pick a lot and are bad teams pretty often. Where are you gonna want to go, man? And if you have the opportunity as a competitive athlete, like athletes mostly think this way. They are competitive. They want to be the guy who fixes it. Look at Baker Mayfield with Cleveland. He loved it. He wanted to be that guy who turned it around. And I love that attitude. And, some people don't like Baker, and I get that. But in that specific instance, I don't think anyone could question that that's the attitude that you have to have. You got to be like, no. I'm the guy. I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to be the one to fix it. And I think, doing that on a stage like in New York would be absolutely tremendous for him. And I think it'd be worth it. So I don't see him going back to Clemson. I think he's coming out. He's started for 3 years already. It's not like someone who doesn't have a ton of experience. He's coming out. I think he said the quotes just because he didn't want to give up on his teammates yet and just wanted to be all in on Clemson for this year. So thank you guys for the questions this week. Really appreciate it. I had 47 missed calls, or voicemails rather. I had 101 missed calls, 41 voicemails on here. So I had to go through. So if I didn't get to you, I'm sorry. And I like to go from the game time on, because if you go before that, it's kind of old news at that point. So appreciate you guys checking in. We're going to keep this thing rolling next week. But for now, I'm Matt O'Leary. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review wherever you're listening. And I'll talk to you guys next time.